voting? You voted yet?
No, and I probably will vote for Proposition 50, but I'm not happy about it. Like you said, it's a gut check, and my gut tells me it's wrong to do away, even temporarily, with California's independent redistricting.
Welcome to the Golden State Report podcast. I'm Marielle Garza.
And I'm Paul Thornton.
Today we're talking about Prop 50, the only measure on the special election on November 4th. It's going to temporarily redraw congressional districts in California until the Independent Redistricting Commission returns to the job in 2031, and it's specifically designed to flip 3 to 5 congressional seats from Republican to Democrat. And as I wrote in a piece earlier this week, I don't think this is an election where our arguments, one way or the other, are going to sway voters. I think this is a gut check. You know, either you're okay with what's going on in Congress and in the White House, and you're fine with what's going on, and you want to keep districts the same, or you don't. Paul, what are you voting? You voted yet?
No, and I probably will vote for Proposition 50, but I'm not happy about it. Like you said, it's a gut check, and my gut tells me it's wrong to do away, even temporarily, with California's independent redistricting. You know, for me, it's a huge point of pride that California does districting this way. When people talk about red states and blue states, we can kind of talk about how, well, actually here, you know, this isn't as if someone has rigged it so it's a blue state. An independent commission redraws these districts. It's been this way for more than a decade in California. It wasn't always this way. I remember before in the legislature, they used to draw the districts to mostly protect incumbents and the balance of power in the Capitol. But Arnold Schwarzenegger came along, and other people who were upset with the status quo, and they changed it.
The reason we have an independent redistricting commission is that Governor Schwarzenegger and other Republicans backed it because they thought it would improve their chances in a rapidly changing electorate. Didn't work out that way. California only got more Democratic in the intervening elections.
Yeah, and I think there are some people who, you know, look at the results of the 2024 election. They saw that close to 40% of the state voted for Donald Trump, but they have a much smaller proportion of seats in Congress from California. However, I really don't like what's going on in California. I mean, there are national issues, of course, that I'm concerned about with President Trump and a Congress that isn't really doing anything. But those national issues are really causing chaos where we live in Los Angeles. You know, the kinds of things that you would want oversight for from Congress aren't really happening. Immigration and customs enforcement tactics. Immigration agents have been allowed to kind of do whatever the hell they want within our communities. And I think the best chance that the country has from holding those agents accountable is to take away control of Congress from the Republicans.
However, it's not a slam dunk. It's very clear that only gives Democrats an opportunity to flip these districts. They may not. There are a lot of voters who are designated without a party, including me, and you don't really know how they're going to vote. So this is not a slam dunk. It opens the door to having a change in the U.S. House. Well, let's talk practicalities. Today's Friday, October the 24th. Is it? Yes, October the 24th. And it's just a week and a half until Election Day. And if you've got your mail ballot and you haven't sent it in yet, you probably want to do that soon, because if you're voting by mail, according to the Attorney General's office, recent changes at the U.S. Postal Service means that things that are put in the mailbox on Election Day may not be postmarked. And the rule in California is you can still be counted. Your ballot still can be counted if it's received 7 days 7 days after the election, provided it is postmarked no later than election day. So that's November 4th. So if they're not going to, if there's some question, particularly in rural areas, that that it might not get its postmark, get either vote in person or send it earlier. And we should also talk about some of the conspiracy theories floating around about the ballots. One of the more persistent one is about the holes in the ballot envelopes for mail-in ballots. And each county has a different design, and some maybe, I guess, in some places the no vote shows through the envelope. Um, Although it's folks have pointed out that you could simply refold your ballot in a different way if that's a problem. And frankly, I mean, who are we afraid seeing it? The people who are gonna get it at the registrar's office and look at your ballot anyway. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
But furthermore, I have experimented with the LA County ballot, and I have folded mine ballot in many ways, and I was not able to get it to appear in any of the little holes. So I think we're safe in LA County.
And don't you hate to accommodate the conspiracy theorists? Why the heck is there this little hole in our envelope?
There for accessibility for sight impaired folks. But I think the real concerns, I mean, conspiracy theories aside, I think we can expect there's going to be some challenges to California voters. We're already seeing the Attorney General's office announced today that they're going to be monitoring these elections in Southern California and other places. I don't know what that means. It's not unusual for that to happen, but it does seem a little ominous.
Yeah, and they one of the people in the Justice Department who I saw quoted cited the Voting Rights Act in having Justice Department monitors in California, which could essentially be totally overturned almost in effect if the Supreme Court decides to remove Section 2 or invalidate Section 2. So we're already seeing the administration set up ways to call into question our results. And I've been paying attention to California elections for God knows how long. I'm not aware of anything actually in the state that has any irregularities that have credibly called into question election results. I mean, something we're used to in California is the final results taking weeks potentially. Uh, um, but that's just what you get when you have a state as vast and complex as ours. That's just how long it takes us to count the vote. It's a good
Generally,
government thing.
it's not the length of time that's at most at
Hmm.
issue, although that has been cited. The concern is this sort of vague idea that mail ballots are somehow unsafe, because there have been incidents that they have been stolen from people's mailboxes. The thing is just having a ballot floating around out there doesn't mean it's going to be cast, and it doesn't mean it's going to be counted because if you don't receive your ballot, and they do track it, you get it. If you've signed up for it, you'll get an email. They'll void that one, and if it comes in, they'll fix it. I mean, the work that would go into collecting enough ballots from 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 people's mailboxes in order to flip an election is just. I don't think anybody would have the bandwidth for that. So
You had mentioned earlier something about this not being a slam dunk for Democrats. We're not talking about Democrats automatically getting 5 seats. We're talking about the elections between 2026 through 2031, is it, or 2032?
no, it's 3 election cycles.
3 election cycles.
26,
And
28, 30.
yeah, and the
30.
Democrats, and
We
is
can
it there?
say that.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
Even years. But the Democrats still have to find good candidates. I mean, we're talking about flipping seats. We're talking about defeating incumbents, and that's really hard still. Especially, there's District 48 Darrell Issa is a pretty popular Republican incumbent. That's no guarantee. Um, I mean, what do you think about that? This isn't this like you said, it doesn't guarantee anything.
Well, Daryl Issa is one of the two that are considered toss-ups. They have put more Democrats into his district, so it'll be challenging. But he's a survivor. He's been around he's been around for a while. The other is David Valadao, who
Hmm.
has been less MAGA-y than other Republicans because his district is a bit purple.
Hmm.
And I think he's also, people like him. And that really matters. Again, it depends on who runs against these folks. I mean, in each race, there's already people lining up. The three districts that they think will definitely flip are Ken Calvert out in the Inland Empire. He was challenged twice by a Palm Springs Democrat, Will Rollins, who came close but didn't quite make it. There's Kevin Kiley, a former assemblyman in Sacramento suburbs, and Doug LaMalfa up in the north corner of the state, the north area or state of Jefferson, if you will.
Yeah. Eh, yeah, I
Really,
won't.
his district has been connected, this nice long thing all the way down to with the more liberal areas of Bay Area, Sacramento. So they're really gerrymandered.
Yeah.
It's really intended to flip districts, and you
And
know,
that's what I don't like. I can't stand that. I really can't stand that. I don't like
and
that
don't vote for Prop 50 if you can't stand it.
but 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 I we live in interesting times, and I like I said, I'm probably going to vote for it, but there's the city of Reading and Doug LaMalfa's district, which is very conservative. They would be moved into a district that included parts of the Northern Bay Area, which will not vote for Doug LaMalfa. So you have the people in Reading they're going to be forcibly associated with communities that are far away that have completely different politics. I don't like that. I like the form of redistricting that tries to keep communities reasonably together. Um, so yeah, but in these
Wah
times,
wah wah.
I know, wah wah
Just
wah
saying.
wah. I'm gonna cry. I'll mark it yes, probably, and after reading about the Justice Department going to polling sites in 5 California counties, including Los Angeles and Riverside, but strangely not San Bernardino. So I don't know what it is about Riverside County. I guess because Ken Calvert's district is there. But I don't like that I feel like I have to vote for Proposition 50. I truly don't like that. So aside from Prop 50, as you know, Marielle, as you might have picked up on, I'm a huge lifelong Dodger fan. The World Series begins today, and we actually ran a piece by Patricia Escarcega on Golden State Report, where she talks about what the team owes Latino fans, because it's been a pretty interesting summer in Los Angeles with immigration raids, and the Dodgers really flubbed their response to those raids. This is a complicated year for a lot of Dodger fans.
So who do you think's going to win?
Oh, I don't like to make predictions, Mario. I mean, this team is so good. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Baseball
Can I
is different.
make not a prediction, but a hope?
Go for it.
People are going to hate me, but I am a neighbor of the Dodgers, and when they if they win, my hope is that it is at a game that is away, because when they win here, the fans lose their minds. And last year, they trashed my neighborhood, even more so than usual, lit a bus on fire, chaos. And then they go home to their nice, clean neighborhoods where ours has been trashed. And there's fire. I mean, it's like 4th of July and New Year's Eve all rolled up
Just
in
another
one.
sports
So
night
I'm
in
not
LA,
saying I hope
Mario.
they lose. That would be bad mojo. But I'm hoping when they win, it is in Toronto.
Well, hearing you say all this, Mario, because last year when they won, I ran down the street, I was yelling. My neighborhood, it didn't get as crazy as yours. No one lit a bus on fire. But now I feel like getting on my bike and riding down to your neighborhood
Oh, I
with
don't
my
think you would
flag.
want to do that.
Just make sure you give your dogs drugs so they can handle all the fireworks. I know
I
throughout the
only have
World
one dog.
Series. Okay. Oh, that's right. One. I've got two, and they
Yes.
they will be getting drugged during the World Series.
Yes.
Um,
So that's going
so
on, and there may or may not be ice raids going on in the Bay Area. It mysteriously, I'm sure it had something to do with your post that they decided to rescind that order to conduct raids in San Francisco.
yeah, interactive journalism, man. It's really you get results. It's something that every opinion writer hopes for. I truly hope that the federal agents will not swarm the Bay Area like they are continuing to do in Southern California. I mean, I read the reports that it took a few calls from billionaires to make Donald Trump change his mind. That's
Well, he
really
changed his mind
something.
about San Francisco, not necessarily about Oakland.
Right.
And a lot of people are worried that Oakland, which is a much larger Black, I don't know about Latino population, but it's a much more diverse city because it's more affordable.
Hmm.
That it might be seeing the brunt of the raids.
Wouldn't that really be something, though, for the rest of the Bay Area, especially the heavily Black and Latino areas, to get targeted? And San Francisco, this island of, I mean, San Francisco's got problems, of course. It's a city like any other, but this island of billionaires that don't have to worry about anything. It's really something to see what's going on. But yeah, I'm extremely worried for the Bay Area. I have family who lives up there. I I'm worried for them. What happened here was it was for me it was just surreal to be lied about that we were living in a war zone, but the terror was real. I mean, places were empty, streets were empty, people were afraid, and they still are to leave their homes in some circumstances. That's not good for any city. So my love to the Bay Area. My thoughts are with them, and I'm sure a lot of people who were deeply affected by the immigration raids in Southern California are too. It's very sad. Well, Mario, I think that's it for now. Thanks for tuning into our new podcast. We'll be back next week. There's plenty to talk about, so we'll see you then.
We'll be returning each week. We'll be talking on current events. We'll have special guests to talk to. Should be fun.